In the heart of the vast savanna, where golden grass stretched far and wide, and the sun burned bright in the sky, there lived a great buffalo named Bruno. He was strong and sturdy, with thick brown fur, curved horns that pointed high, and deep, dark eyes that had seen many seasons. Bruno had always lived alone. He was not born alone, of course. Once, a long time ago, he had been part of a great herd of family of buffalo that moved together, protected each other, and shared the endless journey across the land. But Bruno had been separated from them when he was just a young calf. A sudden storm, fierce and wild, had scattered the herd. The wind howled, the rain poured, and when the storm passed, Bruno was alone. He had searched and searched, walking for days, calling out for his family, but no voices called back. No familiar scents lingered in the air. The herd was gone, lost beyond the rolling hills and endless plains, and so Bruno had learned to survive on his own. Every morning, he woke up as the golden sun rose over the horizon, painting the sky with shades of pink and orange. The world slowly warmed beneath its touch, and Bruno would shake off the dust from his thick fur before setting off in search of fresh grass. He moved across the plains, his hooves pressing into the dry earth, listening to the rustling of the tall grass around him. The savanna was never silent. Birds chirped from the acacia trees, insects hummed in the warm air, and the distant roars of lions echoed through the land. But even with all the sounds of the wild, Bruno often felt lonely. He watched the zebras run together, their black and white stripes blending as they moved. He saw elephants marching side by side, their trunks swaying in unison. Even the small meerkats had each other, popping out of their burrows in groups, chirping and playing. Everyone had a family. Everyone except Bruno. One day, as Bruno wandered near a wide watering hole, he stopped to drink from the cool, muddy water. His reflection rippled on the surface. A strong buffalo, standing alone, hissed. Then, a flicker of movement caught his eye. Across the watering hole, a group of antelopes had gathered, their slender legs dipping into the water as they drank. One of them, a young antelope with bright eyes, lifted his head and looked at Bruno. "You always come here alone," the antelope said, his voice gentle. Bruno nodded but said nothing. The antelope tilted his head. "Don't you have a herd?" Bruno hesitated, then shook his head. "Not anymore." The young antelope's eyes softened. "That must be lonely." Bruno looked at the herds in the distance, the animals that moved together. "It is," he admitted. The antelope gave him a kind look, but said no more. Soon he and his group finished drinking and bounded away, their legs moving swiftly through the grass. Bruno watched them go, feeling the familiar weight of solitude settle over him. Days passed, then weeks, and Bruno continued his journey across the savanna. He traveled far, passing great rivers, rocky hills, and deep valleys. He saw giraffes stretching their long necks to eat leaves, cheetahs running like the wind, and crocodiles resting in the sun. But no matter where he went, he was always alone. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Bruno found himself on the edge of a great open field. He stood still, his ears twitching. Something was different. A sound rumbled through the air, a deep, steady thunder. But there were no storm clouds in sight. The ground trembled beneath his hooves. Then, from over the hill, he saw them. A herd. Buffalo. Just like him, moving together in a powerful wave across the land. Their hooves pounded the earth, their breath rising like mist in the cool evening air. Bruno's heart pounded. He had not seen another buffalo in so long. Should he run to them? Would they welcome him, or see him as a stranger? Bruno took a deep breath. His hooves felt heavy, but he stepped forward. Another step, and another. He was close enough now to see their eyes, hear their breath, feel the warmth of their presence. At the front of the herd stood an old buffalo. His horns curved wide, his eyes deep and wise. He looked at Bruno, and in that gaze, there was understanding. Bruno waited. He did not speak, but he did not turn away. The old buffalo let out a low, rumbling sound, a call, deep and welcoming. And then, without hesitation, the herd moved aside. They made space for him, space in their great, moving family. Bruno stepped in. He was no longer alone. The savanna stretched before them, endless and golden. And together, Bruno and his new herd moved forward as one. The end.